Hello, Sandy from Doux Designs. Notice I don't have anything on my desk. It's a blanket play tonight. It's a blank slate, man. We can do whatever we want. So I thought tonight I would kind of go a little away from the cats and dogs for tonight. Hi, Vicki. And we would do something else. So I don't know if you guys realize, but we have digital images in the shop that you can get, and you can manipulate them however you want. I usually send them right, left, all kinds of different directions, and with white fill, and makes it easy to layer them. Hey, Deanne. Hey, Beth. Hey, everybody. So tonight I wanted to play around with one of them that's digital. Yeah, that's going to take too long to do. All right, we're just going to stamp it and move on because I've already ruined enough time for you guys. But another night I will come on and show you how to actually manipulate the files. So right now we're just going to move on. This is the pumpkin head. So he has a little staff with pumpkins on it, and then he's holding a pumpkin in his hand. And I just love him. He's so creepy. He's creepy awesome. So we'll just stamp him. You can get it in digital, but you can no longer get it in stamp form anywhere because it's sold out already, and nobody has the license anymore to produce this one except for me. So I made it digital, and you can get it out there, and it's not too expensive. I can have Dale check the price. I can't remember, but our prices are pretty low on the digital stamps, and I showed you what's in this particular file. It's this pumpkin head and then pumpkins to go with it. So that's pretty cool. This is a lot faster right now because I don't know where my files are, and I wasn't ready for that on the live tonight. So we'll do it another time where we go through. I did kind of show you that I use pages, and it's pretty simple. It's just if you have the white fill, you can layer them up, and I really wanted to layer them, so that was the problem. I'm just going to leave that on there. I'll deal with that later. I've already stalled enough of you guys' time, but I'm very excited about the release. I might even give you guys a sneak peek tonight because I'm just really excited. But I've been waiting for the paper pack to get here, which is with the stamps, and it hasn't gotten here yet, so a little bit frustrated by that. But it happens. So I'm clearing everything off my Copics so we can color. We were watching a scary movie. What were you guys doing? What were you guys doing tonight? I'm going to stick with these colors because we have this extra, I have this extra panel that I was playing around with the other night because we did this one. And I have an extra panel, so I kind of want to put him on this panel so that we can make another card. I probably won't mat it the same because it's going to be a different card. So I'm going to stick with these colors, but I'm going to add orange in there for the pumpkin head. But the clothes and stuff are going to be the green, purple, and black, or gray, if you will. So I'm going to stick with those colors. I'm even going to make this staff in a grayish black instead of going with the traditional brown. So we're going to have a different realm of colors for this guy tonight. And I do want to do some orange, but I don't want it to be bright. So we're going to have to test a few colors and maybe use some gray underneath to keep it toned down. So I want it to stay, you know, pretty good. So I'm going to start off first with doing the staff and stuff, since I know that's exactly what color I want it to be, is that warm gray. So I pulled out W9, W7, and W6 for now. It's just kind of a quick go-to. I knew I wanted it, so I just ran with it. If you stick around, we're also going to try to make the eyes glow a little bit in the mouth, but probably not with yellow. Probably going to try to do it with like a purple color. So I don't know how well it'll work, but we're going to try to do it. So we're going to play around with colors tonight because it's just fun. And tomorrow we'll talk about all the new release stuff. We have new stuff in almost all the categories that we have. So it's going to be fun. There we go. So I'm just kind of keeping it on the back side, the darkest, this dark shadowy color, and following the artist drawn lines so I can keep some depth within that. You do have him. I thought you did. I really did. And then I'm going to do underneath the hand here. I mean, we might do some really creepy stuff with this guy, because why not, right? Maybe we'll add some blood or whatever. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just winging it. We're just going to do whatever we feel like doing when we get to those points. I'm going to go ahead and do this top part of the pumpkin in the gray as well. So we're not going to have any live wood. It's all going to be dead wood. And also up here, I don't know if you can see it that well, but there's like bandages around here because I had done like these stripes to make it look like his little stem was coming off and he needed some care. But I'm going to go over that with this black marker tonight, so you're not going to be able to see that, but you do have the option of coloring it with a little bit of that bandage going on up there at the top. Kind of like he's been through a whole lot. So tonight, Dale and I were watching Poltergeist. I don't know if you guys, it's an old movie, but I always liked it. And it was all scary part, and we were hyping up, and I looked at my phone and I said, oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock. I have to go live. And so I wasn't ready because I was busy. I was busy watching TV. Sorry about that. You could make him almost like a straw character, because this stuff right here, you could make that look like straw, or you can do it like that old antique-y kind of black and purple and gray, and you know, however you want to do that. So it's kind of up to you. I did put a little pumpkin, like a little pumpkin latch here holding his shirt together. So there's that as well. So adding the black to that pumpkin stem as well. And these pumpkins, I might not do them. I mean, I might change altogether and make them white. Or, I mean, you can make pumpkins any color you want. You have a lot of freedom when you're doing pumpkins, because they have them all over the place in all different colors. So all I want to do is make sure that the colors will match with this background. That's all I care about right now, is just making sure that plays out. So I'm kind of picking all of the areas that I want this black to be on and filling them in now. And I haven't decided on the pumpkin head, so I'm not going to do that with any of the black right now. I'm just going to skip that and we'll come back to it. But we're going to go ahead and fill in the rest of this staff. So this is a little bit of a touch on monochromatic, because we're going to be using a lot of gray tonight, but it's not fully monochromatic because we're going to be adding purple in there for sure, and some lighter colors, purple and green are the two colors that I have in the background that we're going to use. So I know those colors are options tonight. I don't really want to put in a whole lot of other colors. I want to kind of keep this sort of dark and eerie. I like scary movies, and I love the Scary Movie Pumpkinhead. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It wasn't really a big one at the, you know, at the movies or anything that I remember, but I really liked that movie. It's creepy, but it was good. But I like scary movies, so I want to keep this very dark, so I'm not going to go with any lighter color. In fact, if I feel like it needs more dimension, I might go in with the darkest color one more time to deepen it up a little bit, because it's always better to start off lighter and then go darker than to start off super dark, because you can't really lighten that up. So that's kind of what I did here. I missed that with the second color, so I'm going to have to pull that back out and work on that. So there. So he's already looking creepy to me. And I know we're going to work on this shirt and we need the second color for that, but I'm going to go back to the first color for the staff just to put in a little bit more of that dark so that it stands out a little bit more. Just in a few areas so that we have some real good shadow effect, because this is the warm gray. It's the W's. So sometimes it softens up quite a bit when it gets lighter. Hey, Mom. You didn't miss much because we had the fiasco of trying to do digital files, and then it failed on me because I couldn't find the files. So you didn't miss much. We just got started. But thank you for joining. I may have my husband cut that out before this video gets uploaded to YouTube, because nobody wants to watch me fumble through trying to figure stuff out. I know how to do them digitally, I just couldn't find the files, and I couldn't show you what I was looking at because of the new release and all that good stuff. So yeah, that was unfortunate. I also missed his shoes. So this is the W7. And I'm not going to do any more on the staff. I like it just like that. I liked adding that extra depth in there, so I'm not going to mess with that by putting these other next couple of markers in there. I don't want to change it. So but for Halloween, this was one of my when I got ready to do this image, I had wanted to do it for so long that I drew it up in like an hour, which is typically not how that works for me. But for this one, it did, because I already had the image like in my head for a long time. And so it was pretty quick to come out. And I like it. I like coloring it. I hope you guys like it too. If you have friends who like scary movies and scary stuff, this is definitely the way to go. This digital file will be a lot of fun. Okay, so next I have to choose. I think I want, I'm going to do the boots in gray as well. So I'm going to pull out some more of those warm grays. And I'm going to do the boots in warm gray, but I'm also going to pull in some different color grays tonight so you can see the comparison. So we have 4 different tones of gray. We have the neutral, which are the ends. We have the T's, which is tonal, changes kind of the tone. And then we have the warm grays and the cool grays. So I would think a black and white monochromatic would be super easy with this stuff because of the fact that there are so many grays. And then on top of that, if you have Olos, they have an RG, which is like a reddish gray. And that color is amazing. It's one of my favorite color families from the Olo color family. It won't work for this particular image because I don't want to put red on it, I don't think. But I do love that RG color from Olo. So I'm curious, do you guys, are you guys tempted to try the Olos? I know some people are very tempted by them. I use them. I think they blend very well if you have the right color. I felt like I needed more colors from them, but that's just because I use all of the Copic colors. So I definitely get some use out of all the Copics. So I don't technically just let half of them sit or anything. I've decided to put some shadow in these eyes right here, some dark. I want this guy to be dark. He's going to be dark and scary. So I have all the Olos that they have out right now, and they have some new ones coming. And I was just curious if you guys, like, if anybody had the Copics but have tried the Olos and see how they feel. I'm gonna always be a Copic lover. They're just my favorite. And it's gonna be extremely hard to pull me into another different brand. But I do have the Olos, and there are things I like to use them for, and I will be teaching how to color with them. I've been doing some practice and stuff like that where you guys haven't seen me doing it, you know, because I want to be able to teach and help you guys understand those markers as well if you decide to do them. The process is the same. Just picking the colors is what would be significantly different. So, but the process of coloring is the same because they're both alcohol-based markers. So they work the same. You've used them in a class and you liked them. You haven't bought any. Yeah. So I'm not technically right now planning on carrying them in the shop or anything like that. But if I were going to carry a colored marker in the shop, it would have to be Olo over Copic because I just can't get Copic over here. Here are and I'm hoping with the next, they're going to have like 90 something more colors coming out. So I'm hoping with those that it'll really be helpful, but there is a learning curve with these. So I'm going to pull these RG colors out because maybe we will try them and we'll mix the two marker brands together because they're all alcohol markers, so you can totally use them. But this is the RG I was talking about. And this is it. So Copics has like a 0, a 0, 0, a 1, all the way through 9. But in their grays, this is all you get. So you get like this one is almost like a 100 for this color. And then you get a 7, a 6, a 5, and a 3. That's it. You don't get the lightest ones. You don't get the darkest ones. This is the only dark one that you get. So there's some workaround on there, especially when you're used to having all the colors that you can play with. So there's some challenge to it, but it's not impossible. And maybe I'll just add a little bit of that RG down here on the boots to change them up a bit. So in order to figure out which one I would want to use, I believe I just used 5W5. So that's that one. That's the one I just used on his boots. The RG5, let's see if it's too dark. Nope, it's not. See, it'll blend really nicely with that gray. but it has that reddish tone. You see that red tone to it? It's almost like a brownish red. So that's why I was thinking if I use that, it still looks gray, but it adds just a teeny bit of something to this color. I almost think you could use it if you were doing like a sepia tone picture. I mean, look at that. That's really neat looking. I like it a lot. So the good thing about these is that when this ink is gone, you just throw this away and you get a new one. But don't throw it away till you pull the nib out, because you have to replace the nib. You have to put that nib in your new refill. The refill looks like this. This is a refill. So you pull this cap, you put the new nib in there, and then you take the cap from this one that you're going to throw away and you put it on top, and now you have the new marker. So that part is kind of neat, and the marker maintenance isn't so bad because you don't have to do all that filling and cleaning and stuff. But what I will tell you is I would still clean my caps. Now theirs are black, so you can't see all that buildup in there that you get, but you do get it on these markers. I know people like it because they say they don't have to do the maintenance, but you still should be doing some maintenance. I took mine out and cleaned them up, a few of them, and they were nasty. So it can definitely happen. So now I'm going to go back with the W4 so that I can make sure this doesn't stay too reddish brown. I want to kind of mix those two colors together. So now I get another variety of brown that just has a hint of something else. And I really like these colors together. And I really like that RG. And Copic doesn't have an RG. They don't have a red gray like this. So, and I did a comparison of all the colors, and there just isn't anything in the Copic realm that does that. You would have to mix colors together to try to get that color. So I like those a lot. And maybe we'll even use some of that in their pumpkin heads too. But I mean, so far we look like we just have gray on here, which is kind of neat. I mean, we do, but we have the RG, which looks a little bit more like a different kind of gray. I wonder if we just stuck with the mostly gray. I feel like I need some purple in there, but not much, just a teeny bit. Let's see, where do we want to put the purple? Because we're going to have to put a teeny bit of purple in there. So how about we try and use these? So these colors are BVs. They're kind of in the purple, you know, blue violet like range, but they come across a little bit like a purpley gray. So that would still stick with our gray plan. As you get lighter, they get more purple. See that? See how it kind of shifts a little bit? But again, it still has that gray base. This one, I think, gets even more. But I like that. So I think that purple, even though it's not the purple that we have on here, I still think it might go okay with that. Or maybe we can pull in like this 12 and just go over it to give it that that brighter look, like our purple in this. And I think that, look, that's almost perfect. So we'll do that. And I think I'll just do like his jacket in this color, and then all the rest of him we'll do mostly in the other colors. Let's do that. Can you tell I'm making this up as we go along? Now you know how my brain works when I'm coloring. That's how it works. It works like that when I'm on a live. It works like that when I'm not. So I'm going to go in for this, the base part of his shirt. So behind here where if you wanted to make him like a scarecrow type pumpkin head, then you could make that like straw. So behind the straw area is where I'm putting this, because we're going to make this material and not straw. We're just going to color his little outfit here. And since I have such dark colors up here, I'll probably make that pumpkin a light something, but it won't be dark. It'll be light colored. I bet you guys are really curious on how this is going to turn out, since I didn't really have a plan before I started. But that's the way I roll. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and just start, and what happens happens. This looks like a tear in his outfit right there, so that was the intent when I drew it, was that it would be a tear in there. So I might add, you know, you could add like some little blood details there if you were doing a really colorful guy. It just gives you some opportunities to change it up. I mean, there are so many things you can do with this guy that's why I like him so much. So I want to talk about a couple of things. Let's see. You guys still here with me? I'm mighty quiet, but then I'm talking a lot. So I wanted to say, the images that I put in the shop, they might resemble a specific theme or an idea, but I like to draw them where you can use them for a lot of stuff. Yes, I did draw this one. This one is, yes, I did. Yep, and I love it. It's one of my favorites. Yay, you're still here. Good. I like the images to be something that you could use for more than one occasion. So I don't know if you ever saw like the Wizard of Oz set that I did. It's in digital as well. And when I did them, my thought behind that, and the same with most stamp sets, was I drew them like people in costumes, sort of. So I wanted you to be able to use them if you wanted to do Wizard of Oz, or if you wanted to do Halloween costumes of kids in the Wizard of Oz outfits. Some of them are, you could do the Tin Man for like Valentine's Day if you wanted to say, you know, you have my heart or something. So I tried to do them less traditional and more on the effect that you would be able to use it for multiple things. So sometimes when I did this one through a different company. This one was not with Sweet Sentiment. So I don't know if you would have this one or not, Cheryl. But it's digital now, so you can totally get it digital if you need to. So I like them to be used universal, and if you can't envision it in a different way, then follow these live videos that I do, because I do try really hard to come up with different ways of using the same stamp sets. So, for example, back in the day, I drew like a prince and a princess, and I wanted to use them for other occasions. So I made the prince a nutcracker, and I made the princess a sugar plum fairy. And I do those in that manner so you can see how you can just change up the stamp just a little bit and make it into something else. So as you stay tuned, you'll be able to see that you can definitely do a lot of different stuff. Now, I'm going to mute that down, that purple down, but isn't that kind of an amazing purple? I really like that purple, and look at how close that is to this purple. I guess we could leave it if we wanted. I was going to mute it down a little bit with this other one. We'll just do the bottoms and see how it's looking. And if it tones it too much, we won't do all of it. We'll just do small part of it so we can keep some of that really gorgeous purpley color, because I really like that. You see it in the store? Yeah. I can't remember how much it is, and Dale has headphones on, so I can't ask him. But if you're at the store right now, Cheryl, can you just tell us like how much it... If you're not, don't worry about it. But if you are... Can you tell us what the price of this guy in digital would be? Because I can't remember. I tried to price them all very reasonably. Like I said, you get the pumpkins too. So I'm going to come back with this really, really dark BV29. And I'm going to put that inside this tear right here, just so it stays dark. And whenever I have tears like that, I like to go over the tear lines just to deepen them up. And sometimes I like to do that with these as well, just because I feel like it makes them stand out just a tad bit more. So I'm doing that right now. And then I'm just going to go straight across like that so it kind of stands out. So as you can see, it makes it stand out a whole bunch more. I love watching your visions come to life on your lives. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad. That is part of it. Is I just want to, I think we'll use this purple like in his eyes. So I'm going to leave that just sitting aside because I think that purple is really awesome. So yeah, I like to draw them with, you know, different vision for you. I like to buy Christmas stamps, and I don't mind buying them, but also then they sit in my craft room for 11 months until I'm ready to work on them again. And I just want to have stamps that you guys will use for multiple occasions, not just one. So, and because we don't have a whole lot of stamps just yet, you know, because we're still little. We're still a little company. I'm not going to focus on the holidays this year. Okay, so it's more here in Canada. It's $8.50. Oh, okay, so it's probably about 5 or 6 maybe. This one was a little bit, most of them are between 3 and 5. There's a few of them that are 6, but this one was so detailed that I think I put a slightly higher price on this one. So I think that's why that one has a little bit higher price. But even then, $8.50, it's going to be less than $8.50 here, which is really not bad. I think the Wizard of Oz is the most expensive set that we have online, and it's only like $10 or something. I don't know, 10 or 12. Okay, so I'm trying to keep to that dark gray with anything that is not green or purple. I wish that was the price here too. Oh, I know, right? But I'm going to pull in this G28 and G99. So G99 is really dark, but I feel like it needs a little bit of green in there. So for our leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and use these green markers for the leaves. So they'll have a slight green to them, but they won't be bright green like regular leaves are. And I might even put some gray in there with them, but yeah, this is how my scatterbrain works when I color. And I've mastered watching TV and coloring at the same time, so I don't have to focus a real long time. Hey, honey, can you tell me how much in US dollars the pumpkin head is on the website. And you also get some more of the pumpkins, different pumpkins, like in there. So you'll get this one by itself or one very similar to it. And then you'll get more of a happy looking pumpkin. So you could use the pumpkins by themselves, or you could use them with the pumpkin head and put them in a pumpkin patch, which is why I gave you the extra ones. Oh, thanks, Timothy. Yep, $5. Not bad. So yeah, I really like that. I think I have a little bit of green in there. You can kind of see the green a little bit. Yeah, somebody answered. They said 5.
Before anybody buys it, I was considering that being our freebie for the month, since it's a Halloween theme.
No, I have something else for that. Yep, you get 2 more pumpkins. Yep. And then you get him standing in this direction. You get him in the other direction. And you get the white fill so you can layer them up. And the pumpkins are the same way. You get them this way and this way. Well, I showed you at the beginning of this video, so I'm sure you guys saw that. I'm adding gray in here because we're making this dark, like everything is, you know, kind of dead. So I'm adding gray over top of the green. This isn't as dark of a gray as I wanted it to be, so I'm going to do it one more time with a little bit darker. This one is only W3. I feel like I need more like W5. Yeah. I wanted it to be worth it for people to get the digital if they already had the stamp. So that's why I added all the extra things to the files. Or if you were contemplating getting this one and you missed it, you can always come back now and get it. I am still running like a freebie each month for now. And we're going to do that for a little while. So you guys will have different ones to test out while you're deciding if you want to do digital stamps or not. But I find digital fun. I like the actual stamp, but I also like the way you can manipulate and play around with the scenes that you build when you have the digital file that you can't do if you don't have the digital file. So it's a lot of fun. I challenge you to try it. I think you guys would like it. Okay, so now we have to choose what other color of black that we want to use. Do I want to use cool, neutral, or the tees? So in case you don't know this already, and I'm sure I've said it on a live before, but the C is cool. The N is neutral, but it's also the undertone of cool as well. So usually if you're doing the C's, the N's go nicely with them. If you're using the W's, the T's have more of a gray to them, of a warm. So I'm going to shift to the T's for now, because I feel like that'll be a really good transition. So I'm going to pull out like five of them, T, 10, 8, 7, 6, and 5. And we'll start filtering those in as well. I think since I kind of did some light throughout here, I think I'm going to go way darker for like the pants and such. So I'm going to start with T10, and this one is pretty dark. So, and I think I might do these things and these things in this same really dark color. I want it to be different between the purple and this particular black. So I'm going to do it a little heavier where the coat is covering over it. I wouldn't want to run into this guy if I was walking down an alley or in a pumpkin patch, that's for sure. I like scary things. I like scary movies. I do not like haunted houses. I will not go to haunted houses. My daughter loves them. My husband goes with her. Did when she was little because she loved to go, but I do not like to go. So I know that some of you only know me via the videos, so you don't really know like how tall or how short I am. So I'll tell you, I'm really short, and I once got run over by some people freaking out in a haunted house when I was younger, when I was like middle school age. I mean, they mowed me down right there on their way trying to get out of that place, and I got hurt. And so I just won't even go, because people get crazy when they get scared. So I just won't even go to those because I'm so short that they just ran me over. They didn't even think twice about it. So I don't do that. Okay, I'm going to show you how I would do it if I was going to make this straw, but I'm going to make it black. But if I were going to make it straw, I would make sure first I would start with like some of those small tiny brush strokes in between the pointed areas at the bottom down here. So wherever it dips in is where I would put that line. Not down here where the point is, but where it dents in is what I would start off with first. It kind of breaks it up and almost makes it look like separate pieces. And that's kind of what you need when you're doing something like that. I'm 5'2" on a good day. So, not super short, but definitely short. Like, I don't know if you guys saw in the group, one time I posted a picture of me standing next to Sean from Scrappy Boy. And I was standing on a chair, and I wasn't as tall as he is. And I was on a chair. It's one of our favorite pictures because it looks so funny. Because we don't really... It just doesn't feel like that when you meet them in person and you talk to them and you just don't realize like how much taller they really are until you're trying to hang up a sign at the expo and he walks over and puts his hand up there and hangs the sign and he didn't even have to do anything and I'm standing on a chair. It's just, then you realize, wow, I really am short. I mean, like really, really short. But it's okay to be short or tall. Tall has its benefits at a concert, that's for sure. Mom and I, we just have to get front row tickets so we can see because everybody's taller than us. If we get floor tickets, then we can't see because everybody stands up. But, you know, it happens. You're the shortest in your family other than your mom. She was 4'8". Wow. Yeah, my mother-in-law is under 5 as well. I don't know exactly how far under, but that feels very bizarre to me because I think she's the only one I can remember ever being shorter than me that wasn't a little kid. And it's really weird to when I'm walking with her because I'm just never taller than the other people. Unless they're kids. You know, I'm taller than Cooper for now, which probably won't be very long because I think he's going to be extremely tall. But for now, Grandma's taller than him. Your son is 6'2"? So yeah, you don't stand by him. So you get exactly what I'm saying. You're with me, I bet. Okay, so that is the N10. So really dark. And you can see how I'm trying to build in the texture with the brush strokes. Now I'm going to skip down to T8. You don't stand near him. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Now I'm just going to go along where I don't want the texture necessarily in the pants. So we're just going to extend these and start building this together. But it's going to be different when I get to the parts that are kind of straw. Plus I want to keep these pants pretty dark. So I'm filling in most of them with the darker markers. So that's kind of like a tongue twister if you say it a bunch of times. The darker marker. I am full of all kinds of craziness tonight. Okay, now for these parts that I want to look straw, I'm going to come from the other direction. So I'm going to do my brush strokes this way. And I'm going to do them in the in-between spots. So in between where I put those other ones. That way they don't just look like straight pieces of something. It breaks them up. So that is what I'm going to do now. Sometimes the brush strokes will come out really skinny and sometimes they don't, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to look that close at that part. But you can tell how it kind of looks straw-ish or a little more textured than what we are doing with the other stuff. Can't wait to get to the pumpkin head. I'm going to try all kinds of new stuff. And I hope it's going to look really glowy. But who knows? Who knows? This one, I'm just going to keep going from that inside piece because it's a much bigger area and I can keep some texture going in there. And on the next one, I may come in from the other side. I really like this image a lot. I contemplated bringing them out in stamp form again. But then I decided, nah, I'll just give them to you guys in digital. There we go. All right, so we got some style going on here for this guy. Okay, now the next one I'm going to use is T7. And I'm going to finish his pants with T7. And I want to keep them dark, so I'm just going to go over all of it with this T7. There we go. They stayed pretty dark. I'm happy with that. I'm going to touch down here one more time because I see some light spots and I don't want light spots. I like it. That makes me happy. What's up, honey?
For those that are on.
Oh, you remember last night?
To see a sneak peek.
Last night we talked about those, the holders for the stencils. Dale made them today, so they'll be in the release. Just letting you guys know. These are the little brackets. Instead of doing them in acrylic, we decided to do them like this. So when you lift a stencil out of there, you'll know exactly where to put the next layer. So, super awesome. Those will be available this weekend. Okay, so now with the straw-ish area, I'm going to start from the pant leg and go this way. And I'm just going to go now all the way along that part. Just kind of building in a little bit of depth up close to the pants. This is still too dark to do the edges. I'll do the edges and going in with the next color because this is still too dark for that. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to just put a little bit of depth right there closest to his hand. And I am kind of putting them all side by side. And that's fine. I'm just filling that in so it'll leave the tips very light. For this part up here, I'm going to do some in between wherever I can see that there's quite a bit of white. Did you see that first stroke I missed the paper? That happens sometimes. And then over here on this side, I have quite a few spots right here I can do this with. So just putting some, it's almost starting to help with getting the border edges all colored in, around the outside, if you will. And starts filling that in, but keeps it pretty dark, you know. I'm really liking this guy. I hope you guys are too. Okay, so I'm gonna get just a little bit lighter now. I have T6. I don't know if that is gonna be still dark or light enough. Oh, I think it's gonna be perfect. Okay. I wasn't sure if I should go down to 5 or stick with 6. I think 6 is the answer. So we'll try with the bottom part, and let's try it with the collar. And if it's darker than I want it to be, then I'll go with the lighter color in the other 4 areas. Hey, Christina, how are you today? Thank you for popping on. So I'm just going to start from the edge, and I'm just going to give it one quick little swipe because I don't want white spots, but I definitely want some difference between the brush strokes I put in there and this color that I'm putting in there now. And I am barely touching the paper. This is definitely a light touch. Again, you lose texture if you do too much scrubbing, so to speak, which is blending, blending, blending. So I'm just doing it really lightly to fill in any white areas with this last marker that I'm going to use for this collar area. And then I'm going to go back and just touch any tiny spots where I can still see white standing out obnoxiously. Yay! So that's a really pretty gray. I like it, but really if you hold it up close, you can definitely see a variation between this color gray and this color gray. This is the warm, this is the tease. So even though they all kind of look really similar when you're looking at them or when you're, shopping for which one you want to use, they look very similar, but they definitely have they have their own life. They have their own color, their own shade. I like the way that one worked out, but I think I am going to go to T5 for around the hands and the legs, and I'm just going to go from the outside in. And basically that's because I want to kind of leave a little bit of more of a highlight on the hands and the legs than I did around the pumpkin head, because I think that will give us a little variation between the collar and the sleeves. Seems like my camera is moving, my video is moving slow. Is everything okay for you guys on your end? What I'm seeing on my TV looks like I have a little bit of a stutter in the video. So let me know if it's working okay for you guys. Oh, we haven't done anything with his hands yet. What I can tell from this, like so far I like this a lot, but I think that it muted the top collar a lot. So I want to go back in, but I don't want to go in with T10 because T10 is very prominently dark. I just want to add a little bit more depth, so I'm going to go back in. It's good on your end? Okay, great. Thank you, Timothy. T8, I'm going to go back in with the T8 and just add really, really light and just a few of these brush strokes in there to bring back a little bit of this depth that I had, that I kind of lost with adding that last color. And I want it to be all throughout. So I'm just adding a few here and there. See how much darker that side now looks than the other? So, and I want to get that depth between layers. So there were 2 layers here. So I am going to do some of them from here. So you'll be able to tell that this is a layered collar. And then I'll do a few from here, but I won't go all the way to the edge of that layer. That way you'll be able to see the difference between the 2 layers from just, you know, from just adding those little pieces. Now the little pumpkin around his neck, I'm gonna use the Olo, the RK, which is the darkest of the red type color that we used for the shoes. And I'm just going to do it. You're probably not even going to be able to see it, other than it's just going to be a dark, like a dark spot around his neck. So I just used that very dark marker. It doesn't really matter all that much about that one. Now we have to decide, what are we going to do with his hands and what color are we going to make this pumpkin's head? So I have seen off-white-ish pumpkins, and I think we should go with that, because I think that will give us really good variation between these dark depth and the lighter ones at the top. And for the gloves, I think we should go with this gray that we did on the boots. So the boots and the gloves kind of look the same. I'm very big on like the whole picture. Thank you, Timothy. I love it. I like how it's coming out too. So we used W9, 7, and 5. And I'm going off memory. I could be wrong. And then we used RG 5, 6, 5. I think we used 5. And then we'll just see how that goes. And we'll do that for the little hands. So, oh, I don't think I went in with the darkest color. I think I started on the hands with W7, or on the feet with W7. So we're going to start this with W7. Gonna look a little funny when we start off, but don't worry, we'll be good. We'll have it all down here in a minute. I'm going to put some along these fingers that are kind of shadowed from the staff he's holding, like that. And then I'm going to come in with this one. This is the Olo marker, RG5. And remember, when we color this one in, it looks really light brown. And then we're going to go over it to lighten it up. So I'm only going to put the brown to there. That way the tips will even look lighter than the rest of it. So, and you'll see what I mean here in just a minute. Not this one that's underneath, because it's kind of shadowed. There we go. And then I'm going to come in with that W5. And what am I going to do? You guys watch me do this all the time, so you probably already know the answer. We're going to start from the edge and go in so that we don't pull any of that R color into the hands, the tips, because I want to keep them lighter. And then this part right here, I just go over top of it. That settles that color and makes it better. The boots are a little lighter, and I'm okay with that. The hands are a little shadowed by the rest of what's going on in this picture, so I'm very good with all of that. So, I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Now, I want to do the head. I think we're going to use the lightest RG that we have, which is RG3. And we're going to use the W's again for the head. And I don't really want to go too much darker than W4 to start out with, but if we have to go darker, we can. And I think we'll do, so we'll do these three. We'll do W4, and then we'll do RG3, and then we'll skip to W1. And if we need to make anything in between to make it look even better, then we'll do that. So for right now, we're going to start with W4. And I'll know when I first start if I need more depth in there. So we'll just roll with it and see what happens. So I'm going to go from the top and down these little pumpkin marks here on his head. Now I'm going to want all those little cracks to show up, so I might be using like a multi-liner or something to enhance those cracks, because that's what makes him super spooky. And I want him to be spooky. I'm going to go from the bottom as well. So a little from the top, a little to the bottom. We're not going to do the inside of his head yet, his eyes and glowy mouth. I want to do that a little bit different this time. So I'm going to do that next after I do the pumpkins. Now, we did from the bottom, but I also want to do a few things from like his mouth. So I'm going to focus kind of where these artist drawn lines are, showing some of the cracks around this area. He has more on this side than this side, but I'm going to build in a couple of them over here just because I think it'll make it look better that way. And that's our beginning. Now we want his pumpkin head to be fairly light, so we're not going to do a whole lot of saturating with these colors. This is the RG. This is the one that has a little bit of red tint to it, and you're going to see that as I put this down. So I'm touching very lightly, and I'm doing kind of wide brush strokes to get that color on there, but not thick. I don't need it to be thick because I don't want his pumpkin head to be solid colored. I want it to appear to have some white on it. I do want to soften up that underneath his chin area. And then I'm going to go along with these and extend them up. Extending, working that a little bit. And now I'm going to go like above the nose. Kind of give a little bit of shadow there as well. Oh, I did. Did I lose my video? Oh, this is looking so cool. I don't want to lose my video. I actually lost the video for me, but I'm going to pull up my iPad. So if you're still here and you're still watching, just give me 1 second. I want to make sure that I'm not missing what you guys are saying. I knew it was going to make me sign in, for crying out loud.
Oh, your video's still running.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good.
It's just lost communication with the TV.
I hate it when it does that, because then I can't see comments. Can you pull up Facebook like on here or on something so I can see, we can see comments, or at least you watch the comments and let me know what people are saying? Okay.
What's your...
I know, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I know. So sign in under yourself, I guess. Use your phone or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to switch now. I have a little bit of that red in there, and I'm going to switch to the W1. I'm probably going to use the colorless blender on this too when I'm done, but right now I'm just going to take this W1 and do these like just really splotchy, vague like fill-ins, smoothen that out a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time because I don't want to lose my lines I put in there. So, yay, you found it. Okay. Just let me know if people comment because I can't see them anymore. And that's no fun when you can't see them anymore. Man. Yeah. So, I always shoot it to my TV, and I knew it was stuttering, and I was having some problems with it, but, thanks. Okay, still good. All right. Good. Okay. Colorless blender. Now, I want to make sure that even though I covered up the white areas, that was more to blend that RG from Olo. And now I'm going in with just in a few areas that I want to kind of push that color around and sort of lighten up those specific areas with the colorless blender. You don't want to put too much because there's not a lot of color and it's going to move it fast. You only want to put it where you want it to be. I feel like I would like some of these lines up here to be just a little bit darker. So I'm going to grab the W6, if I can find it, because there are now a ton of gray markers on my desk. W1. I found 1, 4, 7, 5, everything but 6, you guys. What the heck? Oh, there it is. And this is why I like my Copic holder, because then, you know, I have them handy and I know where they are. So what I'm doing is just focusing on that line, that artist drawn line in there to deepen up that, that line, that dent into my little guy. So it'll stand out just a little bit more. And I'm going to deepen what's underneath that leaf. And then I'm going to lightly touch these little cracks in his pumpkin head. I'm also going to retouch up these ones. So I'm using a light touch. I'm holding the marker upright so I can get a really fine line. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, I would suggest a multi-liner. It's a lot easier and it won't, less potential for hazard. But I use these all the time, so I know I can get those tiny lines. But I want it to stand out, so that's why I went ahead and did that. I want the other pumpkins to be darker than his head. I want his head to be different than all the other ones. So I feel like it'd be cool if we went to a cool gray to make the pumpkins like a shiny black. So
that is that the color for the pumpkin for his head?
Yep.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. But I haven't done his eyes or anything yet. Why?
Well, I was just saying, with it being that light, it would pick up object source glow really well.
Mm-hmm.
From the eyes.
Yep. So I'm going to use C9 first. I'm going to do this guy up here. And I just want this to be more like a black pumpkin. But I have to be careful because I don't want his eyes to get lost in the coloring. So I am kind of going over the stamp line. This line would be much darker if I had printed it digital than it is from the Memento ink. So that is another advantage to the digitals. And if you don't want to see the lines as much, you can change the transparency of the image and make it lighter so that it doesn't show up as much. Now I'm going to go over this deep sunken eye at the top with this marker so it really deepens that up for me. And I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom of his mouth, but I'm not going to do anything yet with those open white spaces that are there. I haven't decided if I'm going to throw in a fluorescent color or if I'm going to use the white gel pen. So for right now, we're just going to put that color in and we'll deal with it as we go along. All right, the next one I pulled was C7. So this is a lot of grays with a little bit of purple. I'm going to start doing the in-betweens with this C7, which clearly ends up being significantly lighter than the last color. So I'm going to do around the outside so I get the full outside of the pumpkin in this color. I'm going to deepen these lines, add a couple more with this marker, just so we get a little bit of interest going on here. And then we'll finish it off with C6. And I'm going to try to go opposite so I have some light, some dark in this little pumpkin. And I don't want to wash out any of my color. So I don't know if you guys can see on camera what this is doing, but this C, these C's have a blue base. So when I color them in, they have a blue tint to them, which is why they're cool, why they're considered the cool color, because they have that blue base in it. There we go. So that's kind of creepy scary. We have very dark eyes. This is the multi-liner I'm going to use for tonight. It's this lay pen, and if you've ever seen them and you want to use them, make sure you use the one that says alcohol-based ink. Otherwise, it'll bleed. But this one does not. And I'm going to use it for the underside of the eyes so I can deepen up that line. And I think we'll do the white gel pen underneath there, or I have some yellow and fluorescent like gel pens, so if we decide to get adventurous, I'll pull those out, but I don't know if we want to do that much color. We'll just have to see what matches our background piece. So I just wanted the bottom section of that to show so that it doesn't look funny when we get to the marker. So now we have to do this one over here. Let's hold this up against it, because maybe I'm trying to make sure that purple is enough. I think it is. So I think we're going to grab, let's do the C down here, but different numbers. So I'm going to pull the C10 and 8, and then I'm going to go to the 7 after that. So this pumpkin will be darker than this one, but he doesn't have a face, so it's okay. We don't have to worry about that. So starting with C10, I'm going to go over those lines again like we did. And it's okay if you make them wider, thinner, whatever you want to do. Whatever feels good to you when you're coloring it, do that. Because it's your little pumpkin guy, so you can make him however you want. And then I'm going to do up from the bottom a bit. Some of them will just go the length of the artist drawn line, and some of them will go a little bit further. And I'll add some of my own. That's just the way it rolls. I'm going to do a little bit under here so I can get some deep dark shadow there where his little jacket would be over. And I think we'll deepen up a little bit of this over here because that's kind of shadowed by his body. So we could potentially do a little bit down here, a little bit more down here, and kind of fill that in. So that works pretty good. Now that I have most of that side filled in, I feel like I need some more lines in here to like really bring that together. So next we're going to go to C8. It's still going to be really dark, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go in between, some over the ones that I already have there and extending them, and then some in between. So I don't need a face on this or a pattern or anything, so I can just fill this in however I want, whatever kind of pumpkin I want. And clearly it's black, so it's like a deep dark pumpkin. So no beautiful shininess going on that pumpkin. I want to make sure everything on the bottom is already deep dark black, because it would be in shadow anyway, so you shouldn't be able to see it. So now I'm going to jump to the C7, and this is the only place you're going to be able to see the lighter part of this. And I'm going to do it more on the side of my marker and kind of a back and forth just to fill in any leftover space that we have that was white. And then it's going to be time to do the face. The face. And I do have a die cut for this, so you won't have to watch me fussy cut this. I'm pretty sure you're really happy about that. Okay, so for the glow, I think that we need to have it, I think this purple is not going to be the, well, it might, you never know. This is the fluorescent purple. So when you use the fluorescent purple, like, it doesn't really look all that bright, and it's definitely not that color purple. So it doesn't give the flare that we normally get with our other ones. So what happens if we put this V12 with it? Will it brighten it up? Because that's really what I want. Yep, it certainly will. Could soften that up. I wonder if we added a little bit of this FYG. Just wonder what would happen. Oh, it's kind of neat. We really need some really bright fluorescent-y color in there. Okay, so we're going to start out. This is how we're going to start. We're going to play, we might add a little bit of this yellow around the edges, and then we're going to use the fluorescent purple and this purple, and anything we need in between we'll grab when we get there. But the first thing we need to do is take the multi-liner, and I want to put some eyes in there. So I don't want it to be just blank. I want there to be, because I'm not doing it as like fire or anything, I'm just doing it as a glow. So I want to put a little bit of like an eye in here. Like this. I'm just going to add my little eye in there, and then we'll color around it. So this is the multi-liner made with the alcohol-based ink. So once I put this in there, that's it. It's in there. I'm also going to do like right around the top of that eye so that it kind of draws your attention to look at it. And we're also going to do behind the mouth with that with those colors as well. So I'm just going to do these areas right here so that it'll make that color stand out a little bit more. Only on the top of his mouth, not on the bottom. And I'm not going to do anything with his nose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start out with this purple. And I'm not going to do a whole lot of it. Oh, you know what? Let's tip to tip. How about we do that? I think that would be better because then the color won't be quite as harsh. So I'm going to take my V12 and I'm going to touch the FV2. And then what I want to do is make this part up here the darker part. So way up here in his, but not all the way because I want to put some of that yellow in there. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. This is one of those let's test it and see what happens kind of things. So this, I'm going to cut this out. So I'm going to use this to wipe off. See how much ink I had on there that was the other purple. And then I want to bring in this like really light purple, like right around this part of his eyes. I'm going to soften that around there. And we're going to play with this until we get it exactly the way that we want it. That's kind of cool already. And then I'm going to pull in a little bit of this yellow, but I'll probably tone it down with that, that purple. But I'm just going to do it around the edges, just around the top and around the sides. This is creepy looking. Just saying. I kind of like that. Now I'm going to go with the V12 and I'm going to kind of go over that part. And I'm going to go down into this dark purple to kind of deepen that up a little bit more. I feel like it needs to be a little bit darker. So we're going to do this again, picking up that purple and keeping it real dark in this little area right here. Notice I left a space around the outside and around the eyeball. I definitely want there to be that lighter color right around the eyeball. So I'm going to use this color to kind of push any of the other colors out of the way. If it doesn't work, I can use the colorless blender. But because this is a light color, it will also push the ink if you do it just right. So there we go. I really like this. This is turning out nicely. Now we have to do the nose and the mouth. So this time I'm going to start with the yellow a little bit at the top and do the same thing down here, just along the edges. And that way when I pull in the purple, I can go over top of the yellow at that point. So I think it'll just save me a step. All right, so here we go with the tip to tip to kind of deepen that color up. And I want these to come kind of from the bottom. I'm not going to have quite as much of the lighter color in here. A little bit more of the deeper color. In fact, I want it to be way deeper, so I'm going to come in here with the direct marker and just add a little bit towards the bottom. And then I'm going to come in with this one again. I'm going to blend that out. Kind of try to soften that purple. Now that I have a bunch of that dark fluorescent purple on my pen, I'm going to go over the nose. And I'm okay with the nose just staying light colored as it is. Now I'm going to go over this yellow part. Ooh, this is really eerie looking. I like it though. I can't help it. I do. I love it. And I like that head being lighter like that with these eyes. I'm going to go over the yellow one more time so I can tone it down just a tad. Ooh, this is creepy, you guys. This is really creepy. All right, I'm going to put the caps on my markers and I'm going to get my colorless blender so we can play around. I like having just that teeny bit of yellow in there. I didn't want it to be obnoxiously yellow because it won't match our background. But for the colorless blender, I'm only going to do this on the eyeball area. I'm just going to lightly touch going around the eye. I just want to lighten that up a little bit more. And I'm going to do it on this one. We'll let that one dry while we do this one and see if any of the ink moves back into the place I just moved it out of. Sometimes if you oversaturate, it'll move back in there and you got to do it again. So we'll just let that dry a little bit. I like that. It's super cool. And then I think, just for fun, I'm going to do this little bit, teeny tiny little brush stroke line in here that's going to move a little bit of the ink and leave like some little accent lines in there. Can you see that? I don't know if you guys can see that well. I go over it again, make sure it stands out, and then I'm going to work on around the eyeball again. This can take a little bit of time, but the effect is so worth it. I really like that. That's super cool. So for right now, I'm done. We're going to let that ink move around and make sure it's happy where it's at. Is that your phone cast to the screen, honey? Because I think if you don't move it up, I can't see what they're saying. Okay, this is the, when these were released as stamps, we had the die as well. So I'm just going to place it on here real quick so you don't have to watch me cut it out. I'm terrible at lining up dies like this. I don't know why, but I am terrible at it. That's why I think I fussy cut more often. Because I'm terrible at lining these up. I end up with more white on one side, less white on one side. Oh, I hope this fits in my little die cut machine. It's going to be close. Let's see if it'll work. I might have to run it through the Gemini. Oh no, I think it's going to work. Yay! It's going to work, it's going to work. Okay, I hope you guys are still watching. I can't really see the comments very well, so okay. So I set it like this, and while it fits, I'm going to have to cut off the excess paper because it will not fit, and that's okay because I don't need it. And now I can run it through the die cut. And then we don't have to fussy cut. Yay! Woo! Don't you just love that squeaky sound? Don't you just love that squeaky sound? All right, let's see what we got here. We got a crazy madness up here at the top. Well, I didn't do too bad at lining it up. Not too shabby. I'm not the best liner-upper. You can see it's a little off, but over here, I got to cut that out. That drives me nuts. But we know that I have a new little self-healing mat that's super easy to find because it fits right on my desk. And it's only this big. And I can cut that out super quick. So, oh my gosh, I can't pick it up, but I can cut it out. So I'm just going to go along here with my little cutter. And I'm just going to cut this piece out because I don't want that much white on here. I like this, I like this little tool that I have. I like this and I like this a lot. This, it cuts really well and goes pretty quick when I use it, so I like it. I'm going to cut kind of a little bit in a zigzag since that's how this is right here. And then I just punch it out. This one I'll punch out too. And that's good enough right there for that area. But it is going to drive me a little bit crazy that this is so thick right there. So we may end up cutting that off because, you know, I'm a fussy cutter. And that also means that I'm fussy about how it's cut. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this smaller. And this is why I just fussy cut, because when I die cut, I don't get it lined up right, and then I end up fussy cutting anyway, so why bother using that die? You know? I don't know. Some people are really good at it, but they are not. Those people are not me. So I'm just going to make this smaller because I really want it to be less of a border. And notice, even though I'm just cutting around the edge, I am still moving the image and not my scissors. It just makes the cutting way easier. And you're going to see when I get done with this how much better it looks without all that extra white on there. You're going to be like, oh yeah, that was a good move. You'll probably say, I wouldn't have done it, but it looks good. Because a lot of people don't want to do that fussy cut thing. See, I don't need to do over here, but I need to do right here. Like, I just don't like this extra amount of white on here, which I already said a couple times. So right there is good. Especially around his face. Since his face is so light, I want it to be like really light. So I don't need all this white deterring from my awesome light colored pumpkin head. I mean, most people would color this. This is what I mean by outside of the box. Most people would just color this orange because that's just the norm. But I like to show it in other ways. I hadn't intended when we started for it to be all in mostly black and gray, but it just ended up that way. Because you never know exactly how it's going to work out. I don't know, my video says it's on a, oh no, that's yours. Low power mode over there, mister. Whatever you're running the video on. And I'm not seeing any comments, so if you guys are just being quiet, that's cool. But if not, I'll see them after the video because I always go back and look at it when I download it for the YouTube channel. There we go. Looks a lot better. I like it a lot better now. One more spot and we'll be done. I'm okay with a little bit more at the top of that staff, but nowhere else. There we go. All right, now this guy is going to go on top of this, which I think is really neat, but we still got to do a little bit more on the eyes. So I have the white gel pen and the colorless blender. So I'm going to do this part of the eyes one more time now that it's dry and kind of push that away so it'll be a little bit lighter now than what it was. It'll make them stand out just a little bit more. I'm not going to use this pen on those eyes just yet because they're wet, but I am going to use it over here on this guy. So I want to kind of enhance these eyes a little bit. I think it'll just look better that way. Then I'm going to do a little bit on the mouth because it kind of got colored in and doesn't look as cool. And don't worry about doing it exactly like I drew it. Just as long as you get that in there somehow, you're going to be good. I'm going to put a little bit on this one. Just so it looks like it has a bit of shiny going on. since he's standing there holding it. I think that's cool. I'm going to put a little bit on his shoes. I don't really want to put any on like the body, but then for the eyes, I'm not going to do it like around here, but I am going to do it inside the eyeballs so it really stands out. I'm going to put some a little bit under some of these little stitches or over them so that they kind of stand out a little bit more. I'm going to go underneath now. Like that. This one will be just a little bit on the side. This one will be here and then here. There we go.
This is your stash.
Okay, thank you. And I think I'll put a little bit on this side. All right, I like him. I'm very happy with him. I need to grab a base. I think we need to have black and white or gray. Maybe we could use gray. So I think I'm going to use this is the black card base, but I kind of am feeling the gray now that I got my papers over here. So I have like a cool gray, and I have a warm gray, and then I have another cool gray. So I don't know which one, but we'll match them up and see which one looks better. But I think gray, and then I want a white, I'll need a white inside, and I'll need a white on like behind that frame. So I have two whites as well. All right, here we go. We're almost done, you guys. Wasn't that fun? Look at him. He's so creepy. Cool. I like him. Okay, maybe we'll layer up a little bit on this. This one looks good on his face, but doesn't go quite as well with everything else. This one, not so much. I don't like the way the cool one looks with this. So that one's out. Now this one is a little bit of a cross between the two, and I think it's perfect. So I think it's going to be this one. So I think this is going to be the card base. So we're going to go ahead and fold this up. Going to be black, just like the other night. Black like his soul. Clearly I didn't cut that one very well. There's a whole lip on there, but that's okay. No one has to know that. As long as it looks good from the front, we're good. I'm going to grab my little trimmer here. I think I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see a little more of what I'm doing. And it's hard for me to tell just how far zoomed out I am. Hopefully. There we go. It's a little bit more stuff. You can see the mess on my desk. Huh?
Barbara said hello.
Hey, Barbara. How are you? Thank you for popping in. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty on seeing comments and such, but we're doing all right. We're hanging in there. All right, so we're going to put this on there, and then I think this one will go over top of it. And yeah, I think we need that gray in the background, so I am not going to, I'm not going to put another color in there. We're just going to use this one because I really like it. And I don't want to darken it. I like that light offset that goes with it. In this case, anyway. So this one will go here. Let me just lay it out and make sure I'm super happy with it before. Look at this guy. He is so cool. He's going to need to be popped up so he looks different from the rest. And I kind of have this little idea. that might make it a little easier to do. Don't laugh at me. I change my mind all the time when I'm doing stuff. But once my mind changes, then I just roll with it like pretty quick. So what I was thinking is I have an extra one of these. And I was wondering if maybe if I cut just these two out and like used that to separate between these two. Let's just do it. I mean, I can always die cut another one if I want. So I'm just going to cut right down there. And I'm going to cut right down here. That leaves me this piece, which I could put over top of this one. And pop it up so it's higher than the rest of the card. And then put him on this. That way it sort of sends him a little bit different. I think that that is what's going to set him off from the background. So let's do that because I really like that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on. And we'll see. As you can tell, this was me printing shaker window pouches and the paper printed wrong. And I was like, I am not throwing this paper away. So it's on the back. Nobody has to know that except for you, my friends, who are hanging out here with me tonight. You never know what's underneath. You never know. With this glue, they'll never get it up, so it won't really matter that it's under there because nobody will see it. I'm just sliding it so that I get it like straight on the card. There we go. All right, I'm going to use this to press it all down. And then I'm going to put this one, I'll make sure the card opens the right way on here. This card making, I am a quick and easy gal. I usually, once I find something, I make it go together. The longest part of my card is coloring my image. It always is that way for me. I can whip together a ton of these cards super fast. This is not the hard part for me. That is for sure. All right, now we know that I have some of those foam pages, so I'm just going to grab some of the foam pieces where I had already cut out some from it and just use these to back it up. And I think I might have a piece that fits perfectly in, almost perfectly. So I'll just cut a little bit of this off and we'll use it on the other side. I don't want to put anything over the holes because I don't want you to see that white through the holes, so we are not going to do that. We're not going to put anything there. I'm just going to put it right in this little block here. And then on this side, we're going to put these in there. So I'm just going to cut this. This is how you use all the excess of this pop paper and don't waste any. That's pretty good. I really don't think I need any more than that. I think that's perfect. This one. I want the focal point of my card to always be what I colored because I feel like I worked so hard on it that I want that to be my focal point. Perfect. So that is why I don't worry about that. I just wanted this piece to separate him from the background so he didn't blend in and you lose the exciting part of seeing. I want those to line up, so I'm just being real careful before I drop this down. I think I'm up a little high. I can't see very well. Oh, there we go. That's perfectly lined up. Oh, man. Line up, line up, line up, line up. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Now this is a little bit higher than the card, so he'll stand out a little more. And I like the white offset, especially since we have white gel pen on our little guy. Like, look at how cool that looks. That's so perfect. So somehow we have to get the sentiment on here. And when this was released under a different company, there were some Halloween stamps in there. So I'm going to use them, and I think I'm going to use this Trick or Treat because it's thicker. It's a thicker lettering than the other one was. I wonder if I need to get this. Maybe I should use one of these. Let's see how this works. We have extra paper, so we might as well use it. This says Trick or Treat. I love that. And I want to have it a stamp, so I'm going to show you how you can quickly make that the stamp part on both sides. And we'll use this piece right here because we should never let anything go to waste if we don't have to. So I'm going to center that right there near the bottom. Some of you crafters who are crafty like me will know exactly what I'm going to do. Ta-da! I'll clean that after the live. And then what I'm going to do is cut this going this way. It's wet, so I don't want to touch it. And then I am literally going to cut this right here. And you're going to say, oh my goodness, how are you going to have that stamp at the top? Well, we could just slide it under there and you wouldn't see it. Or you could do it like this. So you just line it up with the top one. I need to straighten this cut just a little bit. It's a teeny bit off. There you go. So you line the sides up right here. Like that. And you have it this way, or you can scoot it up and line it up here. And then you have that top and that bottom. So I'm going to use my tweezers to hold on to this little guy. I'm going to put glue on it. And then I'm going to place it on top of this so I can still have those. I'm going to do it all down here on this lower one. Just like that. And make sure I line up on this side. Should I be up one? I should. I'm down too low. Nope. This is the right spot right there. I'm going to flip it over, press it down, make sure I got a good hold on there. Perfect. And then I'm going to cut just underneath this. Because it doesn't matter what it looks like underneath, no one's going to see it. Now I have that border all the way around. And I can place that on my card where I want it, which I want it down here at the bottom to say Trick or Treat. I'm going to put that straight down onto the card. Just like this. I'm going to put him here so I can see how far down he goes. Yep, just like this. So now this test sample of the background that I did yesterday now just came in handy for a brand new card today. Now, if we want to, we can put a little bit of the pop on the back of here so it matches with the other one, which I'm going to do. It's only on the head area. So let's see. We definitely need a little behind this pumpkin right here. And then that's okay if that's flimsy. And then we need it at the top of this pumpkin. So as long as we have our pumpkin heads popped down, we're in good shape. Let's cut it like this. Cut that little corner off so it doesn't show up. And since I cut that corner off and I have that extra little corner floating around there and I don't like wasting anything, we're going to take the back off of that and we're going to stick that up here. Because why not? No sense in throwing it away if it works great with this piece right here. I don't think we need any on the bottom because his feet are just barely off. So we're going to do it like that. And then I'm going to take this off. And this. That is so smart. I was prepping for tomorrow's day one, the paper escape classes. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. I ended up in a meeting today and missed the beginning of that. I was so sad that I missed, but I got to come in at the end. It was fun, and the ATCs were really cute. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, the paper escape is like a free, like little crafting day where they're having different stuff and going on. And I was a sponsor for it, so I'm participating. I kind of wanted to cover those holes with his feet. That's why I kept moving him around, because I didn't want you to see like those holes down there at the bottom. Now he is on there and he looks really cool. I like him a lot. And then we have some purple, we got to see the sneak peek last night of some of the new purple dots. Well, since you already saw them, I'm going to use them again tonight because I think they work perfect. So they'll be in the shop on Saturday. And I'm just going to put a couple of them like this. Not very many, just a few. I don't think I need a lot. I have a lot going on this card. So for those who are popping in that did not see the live on Tuesday, this background is from the ton. It was a postage stamp die, and then we stenciled this design over top of it. Yeah, we did it on Tuesday. So it's on my YouTube channel if you want to go out and catch it. There we go. All right, now we have those amazing new purple dots that are not see-through like all the other dots that we have in stock. I like that. I wanted to have ones that didn't, that you couldn't see through as well. So I pressed them down with my soda press just because that way I know I got a really good seal on them. And then there we go. This is our amazing little pumpkin head. And I'm telling you, I have had so much fun with this stamp set. I really like it. It is a digital image, so those that popped in later, it is $5. Is that what you said, honey? $5. It's $5 on the website, and you get the white version, the white fill version, the PNG, and the JPEG, and you get extra pumpkins and this little guy in right and left directions, and the pumpkins are also in right and left directions for $5 on the website. If you're not sure how to use Digis, then you can certainly try the free one, the free Digis that we have in the shop. And that is why we set up some free ones for your benefit, and so you could test out how to use them and make sure you're happy before you actually buy stuff. We don't want you to buy something you don't want. So there we go. This is our amazing card for tonight. I am very happy with how this turned out. I love purple, so how could I not love this? I just love it. I absolutely love it. That background is supposed to be sunflowers. So if you didn't see the live on Tuesday, that's what those were. But we made them Halloween looking. Thank you. You guys liked it, huh? The one we did on Tuesday was this one. So if you're curious about how that went together, this is the Curious Kitten. We did some webbing around the outside, and we did some of the lettering that we have with stencils in the shop, and that was really fun. But I just wanted to do something Halloween. Make sure you come back tomorrow night, because that's when the new, where I'm going to show you all the new release stuff, and then it'll be available to purchase on Saturday. It's a little bit different than what I normally do, so I hope you guys are going to love it. It's just a one-off for fun. And it is, my releases are not going, you don't have to worry about them being Christmas or holiday, because they're not, generally speaking, just holiday. They are, you could use them for holiday if you wanted, just like we did with the cat, but you don't have to. So that's how we do it. And since we don't have a lot of stamps, we can't specialize right now for specific holidays. So ours tend to be a little bit more general. So if you have any questions about that, let us know. But I am looking forward to seeing you guys on Friday for the release preview. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry about the crazy, what do you call that? Technical difficulty. But thank you for hanging out. I love that you guys hung out with me, and some of you hung out the whole time. So thank you so much. I love you guys. I really appreciate you watching. And if you want to watch, please use the YouTube, like, and subscribe. We're trying to build that channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. You get one more night with me this week than usual. So I'll see you tomorrow night. Can we see something from the new release? Let me see. Oh, what if I showed them this? This is going to be one of the minor pieces in it. Ready? Can you guess what it is from this? What is it? I just don't know. But there will be a stamp that makes this. It's so cute. I just want like a whole bunch of them. That is the sneak peek for tonight. I would love to hear what you guys think it is. So definitely post what you think it is. I don't have the cards ready, but I'm going to be working on them tonight and in the morning. And if I have a chance, I will give you some sneak peeks to guess from there. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you so much, and love you guys. Bye.